Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering complimentary pickup and delivery for service with every new vehicle purchase, including the Land Rover Defender. Details at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com. This is WCBU, Peoria Public Radio.
Advocates have a list of things they say would improve early childhood in Peoria. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Wednesday, July 31st. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, another challenger for Mayor of Peoria comes from within the City Council. 2nd District Representative Chuck Graham announced his candidacy Tuesday. The former Peoria Public Schools teacher's service on the council dates back to the 90s. His most recent role as the 2nd District councilperson started in 2013. Graham says he believes Peoria has a bright future, but there are some, quote, clouds that need to be dispelled.
I feel that under my leadership, we can get Peoria back on track as it relates to both public safety and some of the problems involving our mentally ill people.
Graham mentions homeless encampments as an issue that must be addressed. While he doesn't mention specific action, he says he plans to reach out to mayors and cities with similar issues and collaborate with law enforcement and local agencies. Graham's announcement means his council seat is open, but he's not worried about handing over the reins.
There are a lot of talented people, I believe, who will be throwing their hats into the ring to be 2nd District City Council, and I have been in conversation with some of those who might be interested in throwing their hats into the ring here fairly soon.
Graham joins incumbent Mayor Rita Ali and fellow councilperson John Kelly in the race. Assuming all three file paperwork, the primary election is February 25th, 2025. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says he hasn't decided whether he will run for a 6th term. And insurance plans in Illinois will have to cover pregnancy, postpartum, and newborn care from doulas and midwives. Plus, the U.S. Department of Justice hosted a listening session at a Springfield church following the death of Sonia Massey at the hands of a sheriff's deputy. You can find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. Shorter wait lists, better transportation, and a stronger workforce are some of the needs advocates say would improve youth behavioral health services in the Peoria area. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello has more.
Birth to 5 was founded through a partnership between the state of Illinois and the Illinois Network of Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies. Their goal is to use community input to find ways to improve child care in Illinois. The latest regional reports released by the organization focus on behavioral health. They include strengths each region has and identify what's needed to improve services. Felicia Farden is the Regional Council Manager for Tazewell, Woodford, and Mason counties.
A lot of families live in rural areas, so we found like the biggest access barriers were families that live rural, families who utilize Medicaid, and families that have little to no access to financial resources. They face the hardest time finding mental and behavioral health resources.
A limited number of providers accepting Medicaid is also a barrier to care in Peoria County. Farden says low reimbursement rates are one factor. She says providers also reject Medicaid because they can't charge for a missed appointment, which can cost them money. Carrie Clark is the Regional Council Manager for Peoria. She says workforce issues further limits the number of providers, creating long wait lists.
There is a shortage of certain therapists, especially when we talk about those that serve children and serve young children. There's just a shortage of providers there. So that's the initial barrier, and then you throw an insurance issue on top of that, depending on the family situation.
Flo James is the president of the Tri-County chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. She says finding a doctor who specializes in children's behavioral health is one of the biggest challenges she hears from parents, especially for children under 5.
But I really think a lot of it is just because there's not enough research being done and there's not enough licensed professionals that are really focusing their specialty towards children.
Felicia Farden says the workforce issue is directly tied to pay. She says it costs money to get licensed in child-focused therapies, but it doesn't often lead to a jump in pay. Residents in rural areas also face transportation barriers, with some families facing drives of 45 minutes or longer to get care. Farden says home visitation services have helped mediate some of those concerns east of the river. Reducing the stigma around children's behavioral health was another regional need. James says the parents often feel that their child's behavioral health issues are caused by something they did, but she says that's rarely the case. She says not every child reaches every developmental checkpoint at the same time, and that's okay.
Take the limits off your kid, right? Take the limits off your eyes, off yourself, and embrace the fact that your child just has a special, unique way in learning and thriving. And if you would just allow them to show you what they could do, they will probably blow your mind.
Farden says that early intervention can be key to helping children's behavioral health.
As a parent of a child that's autistic, the sooner you get them help, the better off you will be. Even if you're not ready to get that label, to get that diagnosis, there are still resources that can be provided that can help with development.
Carrie Clark says taking a child to a specialist when they're young doesn't always mean they'll need extra help forever.
That doesn't mean it's going to be a lifetime of therapy. It may just be a short time, or it may just be trying to figure out the right medication for that family, for that child. And so it puts everyone in the whole family in a better situation. Because if a child is needing help, it's probably stressing the family as well.
Birth to 5 has interest forms open for action and family councils to begin implementing suggestions included in the reports. Farden says anyone can join regardless of background.
We like to talk to people from the chambers of commerce, people from corporations, businesses in our area. Early childhood affects everybody in some sort of way. And then family council, we need your stories. We need your experiences.
Birth to 5's regional reports and council interest forms can be found at their website, birth5il.com. For WCBU, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Now, before we let you go, today is a regular meeting of the Tazewell County Board. Those meetings take place at the Justice Center Community Room in Pekin, starting at 6 p.m. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, Spotify, or YouTube Music.